All right. Hi, everyone. We're going live. We're going to start with our wonderful promo that Kay Yang made. This is everyone. We're going promo. We're going to start with our wonderful promo.
And finally, new.
All right. Here we go.
Are we good now with sound?
We are good with sound.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Let's see. This is Kay Yang, and you're watching the Let Women Speak Speakers Corner USA Tour, featuring Kelly J. Keane of Standing for Women UK.
If you would like to assist us in making this documentary, which is not about a few people sat down having long interviews, it's about real women doing things to try and stop the erasure of their rights and the mutilation of children's bodies. It's about the ordinary women that became activists through this, there's lots of stories to tell, and I'm happy for all of them to be told, but the story that we're going to tell here in our documentary is the story of ordinary women doing extraordinary things when they were pushed to extraordinary depths with this.
I want to thank all of the women who have been organizing. Obviously, I have a big thank you to Kelly J. Keane. This is for her documentary that she is doing across the United States. These are all of the dates that are coming. If you can make it to one of these cities, please do your best to get there. This is an opportunity for all women to share their voices. This is a chance for us to really revitalize and give a strong foundation to the activism that we have already been doing.
If you're in the USA, it is really easy to give towards this documentary to make your American women's voices heard, as well as those in the UK and Europe. This little bit of history and uprising belongs to the brave women and girls who were standing up against this absolute tyranny.
This is about safety for women and girls. This is about defending children, and this is about future generations. We know that this is all leading towards transhumanism. This is leading towards a world of tighter top-down control and control of women and our reproductive systems and our biology. And we will continue to speak out against it. We will continue to name these things, and we will continue organizing across all of our political differences for our goals. For more videos from me, subscribe to my channel, The Deprogrammer on YouTube, and subscribe here to the Known Heretic channel to join the watch party as we live stream every stop on Kelly J's tour. We'll be linking up with women on the ground in every city to bring you live interviews with your favorite fearless female warriors and highlight the voices of women across the country who are standing up against the destruction of female sex-based rights in the name of gender identity laws and ideology. Join the live chat and connect with other women. We'll take your calls and platform your voice live on the show.
This is Speaker's Corner. This is a tradition in the UK. Unlike here, we don't have a right to free speech, and you're losing yours here in this country through hate speech laws which are coming. So what we've decided to do, because women face an existential crisis and the bodies of our children through the threat of transgender ideology, we thought we'd come to the very heart of where it's being sold to Americans Through your schools, your children are being gaslit, coerced, and manipulated. Through your doctors, through your very, very well-funded pharmaceutical industries. And so this is how we run it. You come and say what you want because you're finding in your places of work, you can no longer say that you don't want men in your spaces. You have to pretend that women have penises. You have to pretend that it's brave and stunning for girls in this country 8 to 12 to have double mastectomies. So, if you want to speak, you come and speak. Speak really nice and lively into this microphone so everybody can hear you. If not you, then who? If not now, then when?
Okay.
All right. Yay. Thank you, Kay Yang, for that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We are coming to you in our studio. There is an event happening in the sense that we are doing this event, and we do have some Portland surprises for you. We have some Portland pop-ups that will be joining the show in a bit. I do want to start with a welcoming Kay Yang. Oh, and now where did I put your bio, Kay Yang?
That's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, take your time. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to say also, I'm hearing you all in terms of turning down the music on the intro, and I will do that as soon as I get a moment to. It's been super busy. Basically, since Kelly J announced her tour, we've just been kind of go, go, go. So I will work on that right away. And just thank you all for being here. This is now the third city. We've already had LA and San Francisco. Today we're going to be connecting with women on the ground in Portland. Amy, are you ready to take it back over?
I'm still I'm
signal chat. Go to your signal chat.
Oh, my signal chat. It's in my signal chat. Thank you. I'm looking in the wrong.
Yes, I want to say hi to all the women here. I know we've got Pinwheel Art. She's always here and awesome. Judy, VF555, Tilly21, Shelby G, Lumpy Custard. I see you again. Sarah Monahan. We've got Hazel. We've got Dragon Kittigan. Sovereign Women Speak. What's up, women over there? I'm not sure who's on the account, but hello. Probably maybe Heather. John Snow, Andrea. Amy, are you taking it back over or no?
I am going to take it back over. And now now I open the document and now I can't see where I put the open document on my thing because I have too many open documents, and I'm sure a lot of people have this problem. Hold on, I'm going to just open it again because why not? All right, well, I want to start by welcoming Kay Yang. She is the creator of StopFemaleErasure.com. She's a writer, filmmaker, artist, activist behind the Deprogrammer on YouTube and Instagram. Kay Yang exposes the intersections of corporate, government, nonprofit collusions driving the transgender movement, a smokescreen for a massive social engineering and propaganda war being used to facilitate female erasure in language and law on a worldwide scale. Kay's work connects the dots between normalized practices of child sexualization and the proliferation of biopharmaceutical transhumanist technologies, and frames these agendas as foundational to the colonization of the female body and female reproductive control. Kay Yang's perspective is uniquely informed by her past work uncovering the money behind the co-optation of direct action-based environmental resistance movements and indigenous land struggles, as well as her experiences indoctrinating youth with gender identity ideology in the New York City public schools while working at an LGBT nonprofit funded by New York State Department of Health. So we are so lucky to have her, and I am absolutely one of her #1 fans, and I have been honored to work by her side, collaborate with her, protest with her. So thank you, Kay Yang, for being my co-host.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much for the introduction.
I want to let you all know we are going, I'm going to introduce Amy, but I want to let you all know we're going to have a special guest today. So hang on, and we'll be tuning in a special guest before we start the live stream with the women on the ground. And I just want to thank you all so much for being here and bearing with us as we kind of like sort through getting this all figured out with the show, because it was kind of on a whim while chatting. We were like, you know what? Let's have a space where women can get together, where we can all group up and chat and like, you know, tune in to all the different live streams going on, showcase all the different people on the ground. Let's just do something. So I've been really grateful to be working with Amy, both on this show and in general since we met doing the Women Picket DC organizing almost 2 years ago now. Because one of the things I really like about Amy is that she's just kind of a go-getter and self-start. Like if I say I have an idea and let's do something, she's ready to start moving on it right away. So if you didn't know, she holds an MFA in theater from NYU. So she has a background in the arts at the Tisch School of the Arts, an MA in depth psychology at Pacifica Graduate Institute, 20 years of experience in theater education, and 15 years in the New York public school system, where she taught peer mediation, conflict resolution, anger management, self-esteem building, literacy, all through her style of theater engagement. She's also served as an education director where she lives in Washington State. She's a graduate and postgraduate, and her work focused on the creative imagination and eco-psychology as a basis for building embodied awareness. And if you know anything about Amy's work, she's huge on embodiment. I love her for that. She's currently, as you know, one of our brilliant American women's rights activists. She's an educator and facilitator. Her work focuses on women, embodiment, boundaries, intuition, instincts, and sense perceptions as internal authority building practice. And you all are probably already following her, but if you're not, please go find her on Twitter at The Known Heretic. She's also on Instagram, and subscribe to her YouTube here, not just for more live streams, but she's got all kinds of great original content, especially for anyone that works with children. Amy is an expert on talking about child safeguarding and talking about what grooming looks like. So please tune into her work. Go ahead, Amy. I'm going to pass it back over to you and start pulling up info from last week so we can do a little bit of a recap on what went on, or I'm sorry, at the last Speaker's Corner.
So I want to ground everyone in what we're doing here today. This is the third live stream for the Kelly J. Keene Let Women Speak USA tour. We've been really lucky to have Kelly J. come here with her documentary crew. She's really underscoring and highlighting the work that American women have been doing with our activism on the ground. Her tour is hitting 9 different cities in different locations throughout the time that she's here. Already, we have had a very successful event in LA, as well as a successful event in San Francisco. The Portland event was canceled for the day officially, but we have decided to hold space for that event. Kelly J. Keene put out a video with her giving us her explanation of why things are canceled. Multiple reasons, and we don't have to go into it, but we do know that Portland is a city where Antifa has been extremely active. So whether or not that is one of the reasons of why this event got canceled, I think that it's worth talking about the fact that there are certain cities where it is less safe for women to have free speech. And we really think it is important for women to be able to have free speech. And that is why we are holding this space. So we want to make sure that the women of Portland have a voice. We want to make sure that you all have a voice. So whether or not we are specifically stopping in Portland for this tour, this here is us holding space for Portland. We do have a few women who will be joining us a little later in our program who are in Portland. So we will be hearing from them. I'm very excited to see they are being very safe. They are being very silent about the location that they will be popping up from. So they are taking every precaution you can be sure, and they are ready to be on the move if need be. But we are really excited that they have decided to stand in that city and speak. But we are, of course, also holding space here so that all women can speak. We are going to be having, again, we have started last week, having a live call-in portion of our show. We are going to continue that this week. So we decided if we're not going to have a great big 2-hour speakers corner event on the ground, what we can do is have a speakers corner event right here. So we will be inviting everyone to give us their best 3-minute speech on what you are concerned about with this identity movement, what you are concerned about with women and children's safety, what you are concerned about in terms of women's safe spaces. So this is an opportunity for all of us here today to express our concerns. And as we know, as we keep repeating what Kay Yang and I keep saying, this is the public record of our dissent. So the fact that we meet here online in these spaces, the fact that we put these out, we amplify them, we share them, we record them. These are recorded. Even if they shut down my YouTube, this is being recorded. They cannot erase this. So this is a public record of our dissent, and this is how we share our stories. We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for anyone to platform us. We don't have to wait for a call from CNN or MSNBC. We get to create our own media. We get to tell our own stories in our own voices and share our own values, and we will not be silenced. And we all are here because we believe that. Kay Yang, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, actually, thank you for all of that. And I want to say, in that spirit, I just want to give a shout out to all of the women that have been on the ground in all of the different cities that have been using their personal equipment at their own risk, filming events, live streaming, plugging in with us, without us, doing their own thing. Women are out there making media, and it's incredible. And the more we do this, the more chances we have to spread our word to different avenues of women. I'll respond to some questions in the chat really quick, asking if Portland is still happening. The Speakers Corner event has been canceled due to some safety concerns, but some women are still going to do some type of pop-up protest, and they're going to get their voices out on the ground somewhere in Portland, and we are going to connect with them and platform their voices and follow them around and see what they're going to do and help them spread their message. And we'll also have a special guest coming on the show, and we are going to open up the lines for you all to call in, like Amy was saying, to have your voices heard. And I want to thank Rev Fox USA for the incredible coverage that they provided on the ground on Saturday in San Francisco. It was because of them that we were able to broadcast an ongoing continuous stream and see what was going on down on the ground. And I want to share their, let's see, I want to share Rev Fox USA, their YouTube channel, and ask you to all go over there and subscribe to them just like that. And if you can do that, and we just keep on supporting all the different teams of people and women that are out there getting this story out. And as you can see, they recently broadcast from the First Do No Harm Unity rally that happened in Anaheim, California, where a number of different groups all came together in one voice to protest the American Pediatrics Association for the medicalization of gender nonconforming children. So please check out Rev Fox, and Also, a shout out, of course, always to our sisters at WLRN, Women's Liberation Radio News. They are always on the ground covering everything anywhere that they can. And yeah, this is what it's all about. Women, going out there and doing whatever we can with whatever we can utilize to get our own voices out and to help other women get their voices out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kayang, for that. Yeah. We have been really lucky to be covering these events with you. All right. I am waiting to hear from our on the ground people. So that is still coming. Are you in contact with our special guest?
Oh, I can be.
I sent her a link, but I just wanted,
okay. Yep. I'll send her a message right now and make sure that she is still planning to join us.
While we're waiting for that to happen, I think this is going to be a great time to take some call-ins. So anyone who would like to call in, I'm going to put up the number momentarily. This is an opportunity for you to give your best 3-minute speech or less or a little more. I mean, that's just a rough guideline. We're not keeping timers, but I would love to hear from all of you. I know that there are so many who are not able to go live in person. It's not possible for everyone to travel. It's not possible for everyone to take time off of work. But what we really want to do with our live stream events throughout this whole tour is we are always going to be offering an opportunity for live call-ins, because we really want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate in free speech. This is, if there is any patriotism left in me for this country, the notion and the value of free speech is one that I still am absolutely behind. And this is a right that I am going to continue to stand up for. One thing I don't know if anyone else is framing it this way, but I don't like to call the Antifa groups Antifa. I like to call them anti-free speech. I don't know, activists, or I don't know I don't know a good last term for that, but I call them, they are anti-free speech. They are an anti-free speech movement. They're a silencing movement. They want to stop women from speaking. All right, so this is the number.
Yeah, that could be in a whole video in itself, is actually discussing how a lot of their tactics and ideologies are fascist, but I will save that for a different kind of show other than the one we're doing today, because I want to focus on highlighting the work that was done in San Francisco on Saturday with Kelly J. Keen's second stop on her USA Speakers Corner tour. The women gathered in front of a publicity event that Senator Scott Wiener, that's the California senator who is responsible for putting men in women's prisons, an event that he held. And I want to show some images from that while we wait for women to call in. Or do we have someone?
Oh, no, we don't. I didn't know if you wanted to do that first or you wanted women to call in. I'm not putting up.
I think if women are ready to call in, we could take a call while we're waiting for everything else to start. And while we're waiting for a call, I'm going to show just some imagery from the event. So this is Scott Wiener's drag queen pumpkin carving event that he held, where they invited children to carve pumpkins with drag queens. And there was, our women showed up with Kelly Jane's speaker tour. And here's an excellent photo of Posey that I saw on the Epoch Times. And some of our fearless women in the background. I see the sign, children cannot consent and women don't. I love that message. There was some coverage of the event in the Epoch Times. Oh, great. We have a caller.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That's an awesome picture.
Oh, hold on. Hello?
Call from Judy C.
Oh,
hello. To accept,
oh,
press
hold
1.
On.
To send a...
Okay, good. I rather have you answer here. Okay, good. Hold on. I have to. Oh, good. I have you on speaker. Okay, excellent. Oops. I'm gonna silence this one now. All right, I have a call. I'm gonna have you call back. Whoever my second caller is, call back in a second. Welcome. You are on the air. You can.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Kayang.
Who is this? Who are we speaking with?
This is Judy C.
Ah, Judy. I love it.
It's nice to talk to you.
So good to talk to you. It's been so exciting hearing from people that we see in the chats all the time. And Judy, you're one of my mods on my channel when you show up. You've been such a great help with that. Welcome.
Thank
Well, what do you want to share with us? What do you want to say?
I was in San Francisco on Saturday, and it was I was scared to go, but I went. And Noe Valley is like a upscale family neighborhood, so really it was super chill. So Scott Wiener had there were 10 cops there surrounding the place, so we could not go inside of the park. We had to stay on the sidewalk. But so it was really chill. Kelly was great. I think there was over 2 hours of people talking, and there were probably about 30 of us, maybe 40. Right. I would say, at least 30. And finally at the end, there was a group of about 5 or 6 cops standing on the corner watching us, and they left. All of a sudden, everybody left. And Kelly, she's so awesome. She looked over and she's like, "This is my chance." She just starts walking over to Scott, and then Kat Cattinson followed. So I followed too. A group of us followed, and she just started drilling, Wiener. Why are you okay? Why did you put male rapists in prison, in women's prisons? Why are you okay with sterilizing children? And just kept saying it over and over. And Kat kept saying things over and over. And then he just, ignored us and walked away. And we chased him down the street. And it was great. I just kept yelling, why are you okay with sterilizing children? And why did you put male rapists in prison with women in women's prisons? It just kept saying it over and over. And he walked away. But it felt good. And Kat felt great, She said it felt good to yell at him.
Good. Oh, that was good. It was really great to see her and hear her speak as well. Oh, I'm so glad you got to be there in person.
Yeah, it was great. And then we went out after for drinks with Kelly and got to hang out with her. And she's a regular person. And it was really great finally meeting these women that I've been talking to online all this time, to finally actually see them in person and hang out and connect. And now we have a little group. We're going to get together. Because California is a big state, and so, and it's a super, where I live in Northern California in the Bay Area, it's very, it's captured. I mean, I'm in the Bay Area where Google is, Facebook, all that shit, right? So, to even talk about this stuff out loud is, people look at you like, what are you doing? I've lost friends. I can't talk to my friends about it anymore because they just look at me like I'm a QAnon supporter now or something.
Yeah. It's really, it's insane. And the Bay Area is absolutely one of those ground zero places. I think any major city is kind of going to be a ground zero. And I feel like with what Alex Aaron of the Gender Mapper is covering as these clinics crop up more and more and more, it just seems to be that there's not a major city that is not absolutely inundated with this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you have other people calling. It's so great to talk to you in person, Amy and Kayang. I really admire your work. Thank you so much for speaking up because, I had no idea what was going on in schools and people need to know this. And I really appreciate the fact that you've put your, your livelihood and, on the line to let us know what's going on. So both of you, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. And it's been great chatting.
Thanks, Judy, so much. I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right. Whoever my 917 caller is. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe. Darn it. Well, I didn't say the rest of the number. Oh, damn it. I'm not good at this. Anyone who wants to call should call back.
Okay. Judy, thank you so much for calling in. It was amazing to have you call in, and I was hearing women say how good it is to put a voice to the avatar, and this is a great way for us to connect further.
Hello, welcome.
Here we have.
Oh, it's me.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear us echoing in the background.
Should I turn off? I'm recording you.
Oh, you're recording us. You're recording us, recording you. Well,
I'm gonna get away from my recording and talk to you on the phone.
yeah. Hey.
Yeah, we're like in that crazy house of mirrors. Is it better now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, because I now no longer am watching you. I'm just talking to you. My name is Poonam.
Welcome.
And I am not in your head lesbian. Not in your head lesbian.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel.
Oh, great. I'll go subscribe.
I left my talking points inside, so I'm gonna wing it.
Great.
I have been surrounded in the past couple of weeks by children because I'm visiting family, you know, and my 971 number does not reflect that, nor does my 791. But anyway, so when you see children and you see how they grow and you see their imaginations and you see that they're like reaching for reality, and then you have this ideology come in and take their innocent imaginations and explorations and turn it into something that eventually takes away their very pleasure centers. I mean, this is the point that I find so important. It's your pleasure center. It's how you. It's a whole world, a whole dimension. Takes away their very pleasure centers. I mean, this is.
Sorry, go on.
On my own phone.
Go on. That was me.
So what I'm saying is that you are removing how we learn about reality. You're removing that, and you are imposing, authority figures' interpretation, and that is the first mind fuck, and not angel. Okay, so one. Number two, they always go for minorities. You'll see everybody asks, "What's a woman?" Nobody asks, "What's a man?" Right? Right? Everybody asks, "What's a woman?" Now, what's a man? And they have used the lesbians and gays liberation movement. You know, they've piggybacked on it, and they've hurt us because we are people who come. We are like planted in heteronormative environments. And in those environments, we grow, and it takes us time to find ourselves. I mean, to now impose this all accepting, you're trans is so weird to me until I think about the money. Yep. Until I think about how much money is being made by all the gender therapists, by all the, big course, but also all of the adjunct kind of things that's around it. You know, the pamphlets, the printing. It's sick. It's really sick. And then to say to people who exist, women and lesbians, that and gays and gay men who say, hey, you know, I don't want to learn how to eat pussy, you know? Or lesbians who say, no, there's no such thing as a lady dick, right? To say to those people that you don't count anymore. What you feel, what you know is wrong. You need to listen to us. It's the same thing as that first point I made. You're removing one's own self-determination, and you're imposing something from authority. Am I too long? Am I done?
No, you're great. You are so great.
No, this is wonderful. I love hearing it. I'm like, yes, our women get it. Women in this movement get it to the core. You know, this is not a surface level analysis anymore. We are past that.
Let me turn the steering wheel a little bit. Let me go around a little bit of a curve because women like curves. I like curves. So here's the point. See, they don't know the power of women. Women are extremely powerful. And a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people have called me transphobic and they've been against me, et cetera, et cetera. But also a lot of people, when you talk to them privately, they are listening. They don't know what's going on. They don't know about like the effects of the hormones and what Lupron is and all that. And when you tell them, they do turn around. And when you show them that every flag has color on it except for the straight flag, and this is what children are being shown, like pick one. And you're like, what kid is going to go to the grave when there's purple and unicorns and rainbows over here and, all of this. So I mean, the reality and truth will win out. But how long do we have to wait? We have to get out there.
Exactly.
And I'm here in Washington, D.C., hopefully.
Yay.
In Philadelphia, hopefully.
Yay. Well, you'll see us in Philly.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yes, and that is such a good point that, I mean, we know that we're right because we're just acknowledging reality and upholding reality, material reality, and the world around us. And we are not doing anything other than that. And we are going to win because reality can't lose. And what you just said is it's just a matter of time. And that's what I've been saying for a long time as well. It's just a matter of time. This is why we need more women coming forward so that we can have a tipping point of women who won't take it anymore and won't be quiet, won't be silenced. And once we hit that tipping point, I mean, we can't lose because we are talking about defending life itself.
But here's another thing. People keep saying experts. Oh, like John Stewart said, oh, the medical experts. Well, the medical experts were also behind phthalmidine or whatever it was that the babies come with slipper arms. They were also very determinedly behind lobotomies, and they were very determinedly doing these kind of like sex genital surgeries to cure hysteria. So medical professionals, experts have a history of being extremely wrong. What about the Tuskegee experiment, etc.?
Exactly. And in the last few years, we have really seen just how brazen the medical industrial complex is. They don't care about our health or safety. They have put profits above everything, not just our health and safety, but the world around us, completely locked down, all based on lies that are continuing to be shoved down our throats. So we know that the medical industrial complex we have to put the focus on them and show that these are the same people who have been exploiting throughout history, throughout time, and they're continuing to find avenues to turn children into cash cows and guinea pigs.
Yeah. It's the new market for capitalism. 2 more points, and then I will be off the phone because I want to free it up for other people. 2 more points. I talked to Shapeshifter and Abel about this whole, like, why are people not suing about vaginoplasty and phalloplasty? Because they have such terrible outcomes, and you need other surgeries, and you have fistulas and all these things. And I was told by Shapeshifter it's because there is no real standard of success there. This is all complete make it up as you go. So a lawyer needs to be able to say, well, this is a correct vaginoplasty and this is a correct phalloplasty, and we just don't have that. That's one thing. And the other thing is Excelentic said we have the technology to go slowly, for example, to create a fake penis if that's, cosmetically desired by a woman who wants to pretend to be a man because maybe she has internalized this, hatred for women. misogyny. But here's the thing: you have to go real slow, and it's a much more expensive thing. You know, like how they recreate hearts and stuff like that with like, you know, like it's very technical. I'm not going to pretend to know how to do it, but they could do these things very differently. But they're choosing to do this ship shot kind of like anything goes, because and then not being held accountable by anybody.
And just because something can be done doesn't mean it should be done. Just because they could do it well doesn't mean this should be being done at all. These types of surgeries and this type of medicalization of our sexed bodies needs to be rejected in full, whether the surgeries are done quote,
agree with that,
or not.
Bringing that point up to speak to the fact that they have no care. They do not care.
Right.
Even
they don't care.
Pretend that this is something that is for the benefit. Why not do it right? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that this is just another example of how they don't care. The gay and lesbian liberation, the lesbian and gay liberation has been all about like, you can be whatever kind of woman or whatever kind of man you want to be. Now, if you're masculine, you have to be a boy, and if you're feminine, you have to be. That's ridiculous. And on that note, I leave you so that I can go back to watching you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I will say just one thing. I will be talking to Abel and Shapeshifter on my channel sometime in the second week of November.
Fantastic. If you tweet it at me, I will amplify it.
Yeah, and make sure you put your YouTube in the chat so people can go.
Stay strong and get out here, because what could they do? What could they do? Honestly, what really can they do aside of putting on their black clothes and, oh, by the way, Antifa, Anti-Free Speech Army.
Anti-Free Speech Army. I like it. That's great. All right. Thanks so much for calling. Bye. All right. Let's see. All right. We'll keep accepting call-ins. I'm going to look at my, okay.
So while you're doing that, I'm just going to, for the people who don't know, the last Speaker's Corner was on Saturday in San Francisco. Kelly J and a bunch of amazing women gathered in front of a publicity event that California Senator Scott Wiener was hosting, where they had drag queens and children and pumpkin carving.
Okay.
Getting another call.
Great. Let's see. Can I answer it here? Let's see.
Call from
Maya.
Press 1.
Okay.
Voicemail.
Okay,
Press
good.
2.
Okay. I didn't know if I was going to say the phone number. Hey, welcome. You are on the air.
Hi, Amy. I'm not going to give my name. I'm calling from Canada. I live in Ontario.
Fantastic.
It's amazing to talk to you.
Yay. It's great to talk to you as well. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being here from Canada. I hope that we'll see more of these kind of events in Canada as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything's already illegal up here, so I don't know what will happen if people start actually protesting, because it's hate speech to say that a man isn't a woman up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those laws were passed a couple of years ago. I just wanted to call and tell you thank you so much for all your work. Watching you guys' YouTube's videos are saving me, because I live in a small town that's very captured, and my friends are sick of me talking about it, and I'm really, really sad. A woman that lives not very far from here got raped in a rape shelter a couple of weeks ago by a man who calls himself Stephanie when he wants to get in and have a place to sleep.
Right.
And I'm beyond mad about it. I need to do something. I started stickering in order to relieve some of the anger, but I don't know where else to go from there. And I just wanted to thank you guys for doing this, because I watched these videos and it makes me feel less crazy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I feel the same way. you know, in my situation, I was kind of isolated as well.
Raped in a rape shelter. I never thought I'd be so embarrassed of my own country.
Well, it's
happening more and more now. And there was actually just an incident. Was it yesterday? Let me see if I can pull it up. Go ahead, continue.
I mean, it's absolutely disgusting and vile what they are doing. What they are doing to women. I mean, the gas.
Well,
go on.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that every time I read these things, like I thought for sure that teacher with the great big fake boobs was definitely going to make waves in like the regular media here, and it's crickets, nothing. The only people that are talking about it are the right-wing media outlets, and nobody normal will pay attention to them because they're crazy about other stuff.
You know, and I just feel like the gaslighting of rape survivors in general is insane. One, gaslighting us that we are not allowed to tell the difference between men and women, gaslighting us on being able to trust our own sense perceptions, our eyes and ears when it comes to but two, this absolute stealing of resources from survivors where we should be able to go to be safe.
And this particular guy is well known in several other areas of the province to the shelter systems and to the police. And like the staff know, and they're afraid not to let him in because it goes against the human rights code violations that were posted a few years ago. Yeah. And literally, like, my best friend is a gay guy and basically told me a couple of weeks ago to stop talking about it, and that gay people who protest about it in parades shouldn't be allowed to do so because that's not the appropriate space for that.
Wow.
Yeah, he broke my heart.
Wow.
You know, I thought when I had a gay best friend that I would never get my heart broken, but no, not so much. He loves to like go along, you know, he doesn't like see what the problems are and just, oh, it's mean to, you know, it's mean, be kind, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to be nice to some, you know, cute little teenager on the street that likes to be gender non-conforming. That's not the point. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about guys like that go to rape shelters and rape women.
You know, and this is why
unbelievable.
It's so
sorry
unbelievable.
About the swears.
No, it's okay. You know, and this is why I always underscore that this is about sexism. So when I say I reject, when I reject men in my spaces, I don't reject men based on their identity claims. I reject men based on their sex. I don't claim boundaries for myself based on my identity. I claim boundaries for myself based on my sex. You know, I don't care what
your very clear speech about the that is going on is really, really vital. Like I was a nurse's assistant. I'm disabled now. I can't speak out about this because I will lose my supportive housing if I do. And so, yeah, you guys, this clear speaking and language that you're using about the abuse, I think is really, really important because I recognize those things from being a survivor and doing therapy, but not all the women out there do. And you give them a voice and a words to attach to the feelings that they're having. And it's so important.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I hope that you have
I believe within the next year or so that they're going to officially start teaching kids in schools that they can choose their gender later. That hasn't happened in Ontario because we have a conservative government right now. But it is going to be happening very soon, officially, if it isn't already happening in, you know, policy. And that's just horrifying abuse. Anyway, you get to your next caller, and thank you so much for covering all of this, and don't stop, stay strong.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And, you know, at a certain point, it doesn't matter what the law is. We are not going to allow this ideology, this medicalization to destroy children's bodies any longer. We are not going to allow them to break down and colonize the female sex in their goal to colonize biology and life on Earth itself. We are not going to obey these unjust edicts. We're hearing from sisters in Canada. We already know that their free speech has been criminalized. In the US, our free speech is being criminalized more and more every day. We are going to continue to name these things for what they are, to name this incredible male violence and this act of, honestly, frankly, genocide that is being committed against the women of the world. And we won't stop naming these things, no matter what law or policy calls this hate speech. We will not be stopped. We won't be silenced. And we have to keep on speaking up, because as you just heard from the sister that called in, a woman was just raped in a shelter by a man identifying as a woman where she lives. Now, we also just had an incident that Redux was reporting on. It may be the same incident at a women's shelter in Ontario, Canada. I don't know if this is the same incident, but we're hearing about this more and more often. Vulnerable women should not be forced to share space with male rapists, when a lot of the reason why these women are there to begin with is because they have been the victim of male violence, particularly often sexual violence. So this is an incredible abuse and gaslighting. This is gaslighting the women who are seeking services, and this is a gaslighting of all of us and women all over the world to continue to tell us to accept these things.
Yeah.
Do we have another caller?
Yeah, I'm going to put up the number. I just wanted to give a shout out to Mary for your support, Mary Ross. I really appreciate it. I just want to let anyone who has supported in the past or is supporting me today, all of this money goes directly into activism. It goes into paying to host these live streams. It goes into posters and travel and equipment that we use for this. It goes into getting really great media lists where we can sort through and source media to directly contact. And it just goes into posters. Kay Yang makes beautiful posters like the ones behind her, and prints out really high quality posters that are hard to damage. So I just want to say we really appreciate it. And I do want you to know that we do spend a lot of our own money on this work that we do because we care so much. So your support is really meaningful. It means a lot, and it really makes a difference. So I hope that you know that. I really want to underscore that. All right, I'm going to put the number back up. So this is the call-in number. I think some of you were confused. This is not the number of the person who was calling. This is the number of this is the number that you are calling to call in. I'm posting this publicly. If you accidentally see someone's personal number, do tell me. But this is the number that you can call. And Rebecca, I don't know if Kay Yang sells her posters. I know she sells stickers though, so you can go to oh, thank you, Judy. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna get this call.
Yeah, we'll talk about the stickers after.
Hello, welcome. You are on with Amy and Kay Yang. If you want to say your name, you can, but you don't have to.
Hi, my name's Afidi.
Hey, welcome.
And, thank you. I'm calling from California, and I'm calling because I just wanted to get someone else's opinion about something that I just experienced recently that and I don't really know how to process it or what to put words to what I feel about it. My niece recently told me, just sort of mentioned offhandedly, that her friend or someone who's sort of like a sister to her is saving her money for top surgery. And I asked my niece, I said, do you know what that is? You know, what's going on with her? And I asked her a bunch of questions, and anyhow, she didn't say much about it. And then afterwards, I've been avoiding this for a long time. Like I've been every day I watch your videos, I watch Kelly J. Keane. I try to stay, as well. I can't not pay attention at this point. And it just occurred to me that have never really, I've been avoiding, I guess I'll just spit it out. Like doing a search, like a Google search, what is top surgery? I know what top surgery is. I know what bottom surgery is, but I had never done a Google, like a image search.
Mm-hmm.
It seems there's something about it just seems kind of slimy or just or I don't know, maybe it was fear. I'm not sure what, but so I did. Because I was thinking to myself, I'll send my niece a link or something about, maybe she's just not that informed and maybe then she can better help her friend. And so I feel traumatized. I feel, that's maybe not traumatized, but I was shocked when I did do a Google search on, I just Googled top surgery. And everything comes up, like the images that come up just completely stunned me. And I had to, I couldn't even, it was horrible. I couldn't look at it, honestly. And I thought, the feeling I have, or why I'm at what I'm calling for, is just, I don't want to suggest to anyone else, like, well, do you even know what this looks like? You know what it means when you hear top surgery, bottom surgery, if you're a person who, if you're considering it, or or if just trying to, if I wanted to just get the point across to someone, like to really see if that person understands what these euphemisms mean. And so I just wanted to get your opinion about what do you think about that? Like, is it better not to look at those images and not to put that into a Google search? Or I don't know. I just felt like there was something like, not voyeuristic, but just something like so, besides shocking, there was something so disturbing and maybe like, I don't know what.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up this issue. I think, for me, as I had friends who identified as transgender, female friends and male friends, but it was one thing when female friends were talking about their binders, buying binders, talking about top surgery. That was all one thing. But then when I came face to face with, my friends, multiple female friends, completely having their breasts removed, mangled chests with the double mastectomies, it was a completely different thing. I was shocked and didn't know how to react. I knew that I was supposed to support them because they had just done something that's supposed to give them gender euphoria and make them feel good. Now they can actualize who they really are. And I'm thinking, oh, I have to support this. But in reality, I was sick to my stomach, shocked, disturbed, scared. And I'm still scared for those women, a lot of whom I've lost touch with, and I don't know what their reaction is now to having no breasts. But I think that it's at the point when someone is talking about top surgery and using binders and these dangerous devices on their body, I think it is time that they be confronted with the reality of what they're talking about. Sometimes people need to be shocked, hopefully to their senses. Because you're right, the images that we see from these gender affirming surgeries, from this life-saving care, they are nothing short of grotesque, something out of Mengele's, back room. So I think it is hard because there is part of it where it can be voyeuristic, but people are sharing these images all over the internet. There are over 40,000 at this point, almost 50,000 postings on GoFundMe asking for money for top surgery. So I think if you have a personal connection with someone and you can sit there and talk with them and you have the opportunity to show them the reality of what these surgeries actually mean, you might want to do that.
And I think
there's also,
go on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So there's also, I guess, because initially I Googled top surgery, but the images for all bottom surgery, whatever come up, and it was surreal. It was honestly, it turned my stomach. I mean, I'm not trying to exaggerate, or I'm not exaggerating, but it was like, okay, so to use a slight, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a comparison. When I was in college, I remember there were people that had those stands. This is way before internet, everything, like in the mid 80s. People, they would have the anti-vivisection tables, and they'd have these brochures. And the initial shock of what that even meant, and why what it meant to, that moment I became a vegetarian. But I never wanted to see those images again. And I really hated when I would get these things in the mail, and then later, email and stuff. And I have a friend who emails me links or texts me links all the time to animal abuse images and just the worst things. And I feel so I'm afraid to. The feeling I get from that, I've had to ask them to stop doing that because it was not something I needed to learn. I already understood, but the images are so disturbing, and you can never unsee them. And so I guess that's my fear, is I don't want to be circulating.
I think a great idea, and this was a comment that was given earlier on, is to link them to transitioners' stories, because you don't have to show those pictures, although I think they are, if you are going to do that to your body, you should look at the pictures. But I think it's also really worth reading detransition stories, because the regret is really challenging, and the young women who are just feel so much shame and regret for what they have done and allowed to happen to their own bodies. These doctors are selling something. So I think that's really important to remember. They have a vested interest in selling the surgery. There is something for sale. There is something being sold. This is not cancer. This is making the sale. So these doctors have no incentive not to push things on young people. And I would also start using accurate language. So there is a reason why they call these top surgeries and bottom surgeries. And this is, first of all, very porn influenced language, like to top someone to be a top or a bottom. This is very porn influenced. So I would say this is a double mastectomy. Your friend is considering a double mastectomy. That is or an amputation, a breast amputation.
We have to use accurate terminology and words that reflect reality, not make it seem like it's something that it's not, and sugarcoat it. Sorry to interrupt you, Amy. Go ahead.
And use historical examples as well. Ask your niece what she thinks about foot binding in China. That was very popular. That was considered something natural to help a young girl have a naturally feminine, very tiny foot. So I would use examples from history and say, how is this different? And just keep ask questions, ask a lot of questions, and keeping how is it different. And I also get these young people to ask, what is a female feeling? If you feel female or you feel male, what are these feelings, and how are you differentiating? What is the difference between a boy feeling and a girl feeling? What's the difference? And how do you know that the feeling that you're having isn't just a human feeling? And just keep asking questions. I mean, it's really hard not to be like, wake up, you're walking into danger. But these kids are very savvy. But if they get uncomfortable, you can point that out. Hey, you're getting uncomfortable with my questions, and I'm just asking you a question to help get to the bottom of what's going on. And if you don't have an answer, if you're getting uncomfortable because I'm asking you what's the difference between a boy feeling and a girl feeling, and that makes you uncomfortable, then that should tell you that something about your thinking isn't right. Because I don't think there's such a thing as a boy feeling and a girl feeling. I think there's just human feelings, and then there's physical sensations. Boys have different physical sensations than girls. And in that sense, we have different feelings, but the feelings that we have different are physical sensations. All the other feelings, those are just human feelings.
Yes. I think that this whole thing is so insidious. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but an aunt of mine she's been a teacher, for kindergarten teacher she just retired, so for many years, and we had a conversation recently about all this. It was the first time I actually, like, quote unquote, came out to anyone, and it was a family member because of her connection with children, and I thought hopefully she'll be receptive to this, and we can have a conversation about it, not just transition surgery and all that, but just the whole thing. And she was I was so happy, so surprised about how open she was, and we about everything. And then I mentioned this thing about this young woman considering that she knows her, and I mentioned that she's considering top surgery. I called it top surgery. And she said, she goes, I can't remember, does she have large breasts? And I was just so shocked by, like, that in that moment, like that. And I know she didn't mean to, I know that would be a question that someone might ask, or wonder, maybe that's why she wants to do it. But I guess I felt like at that moment, I felt ill prepared, for to have a full.
Well, that's part of what we want to do here with the show, is create space for women to get more comfortable talking about these issues and develop strategies that we can use in our own lives. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, caller, but they're getting started on the ground. I want to thank you so much for calling in and everything that you shared with us and opening up this conversation. Hopefully you'll call back on another stream. But Amy, are you going to plug in our folks on the ground first, or should we bring?
Well, let's.
Not ready yet.
I'm gonna say let's check in with them and let them know what's going on and let's because I want to have let's see. Hey Gina, can you hear me? Oh, she's got her mute on. She may not be able to hear me. Gina, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going there?
We're on our way. We're late, but it's okay because it kind of just gave us a little opportunity to, not be here when the men who are threatening us are here.
Okay, great. All right, then I'm going to let you walk to the location. We have a special guest, so I'm going to keep you in the studio, but I'm just going to remove you from the camera, and you just give me a thumbs up when you guys are ready to go.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. Awesome. So excited that they are there and getting ready to go. I want to open up to introduce our special guest. She was one of the speakers at the LA Speakers Corner, and she is the founder of Woman to Woman. I'm going to let her come on the stream right now, and I want to read to you the mission of Women to Women. Women to Women is a community of previously incarcerated women. They provide resources, education, and support services for system-impacted women. Women to Women stands in solidarity with sisters, being a voice for the voiceless and ensuring them that they are not forgotten. They champion the rights and welfare of our sisters through advocacy and education. They provide services for parole suitability hearings, commutation preparation, and one-on-one reentry support. And I'm just so excited to introduce to you Amy Ichikawa, who you are probably familiar with. I want to say she is the founder, the executive director, the tech literacy department director, the social media manager, the subject matter expert, all things incarcerated women's rights. She is everything. Amy Ichikawa was incarcerated at the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla for 5 years. She realized that there's a major lack of reentry services for women and limited accessibility to available services once they're released. So she decided to found Women to Women with some other incredible women that she works with. Tiasha and Liz are also working with Amy. And Amy's goal is to empower incarcerated women to be able to stand up for themselves and become actively involved in campaigning for their own freedom. Welcome, Amy, our amazing, brilliant women's rights activist. You have the floor.
Thank you. That was the most exciting introduction ever.
It'll be better next time.
That's a lot of stuff. I guess that's why I'm tired sometimes.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot. I think it was super important for me to do this and pass on the tools that I've been, even more so lately, been gifted by all the women I've been in contact with over the last year and a half, 16 months. Like the first time I ever really understood the definition of misogyny, I was like, wow, I got to tell everybody this is a thing. This isn't just because, you know, they hate us. It's all of us. And it was so validating to know that you can identify it. And I feel like that's a really big thing for us. Once you can identify an issue, and name it, it's so much easier to get your game plan on how to combat the assaults from those specific things. Like, well, when I learned about Darvo, it was a wrap.
Right.
I made postcards with the whole definition and everything because I was overwhelmed. Like, wow, this is exactly what they're doing. This is exactly what they're doing to us. I have to tell everybody. And you know, if I wouldn't have gotten into the circle and in the scene, I don't think I would have had the same resources. I wouldn't have gotten the same kind of female-centered education because it's really important. And I've always thought, you know, I totally miss prison, and it's not. I miss that female space. I missed being around with women, sharing time and events and just a space with ladies. And I didn't realize that until, you know, until I got here.
And language is so important, like you're saying, Amy, like having the language of misogyny, understanding what that means, being able to understand that this isn't just something happening to you. This is something systemic happening to women as a sex class. It's so important that we have that language. And that's, you know, it says a lot that they are trying to take away our language and every word that we use to describe ourselves as women, our relationships to one another. You know, they take sister, they take mother, they take auntie, they take everything that's important to us. So I thank you for starting and opening up the conversation on that level and talking about how important it is to have this language to frame what's happening to us and the violence that's happening to women. And it's also important that women like you get platformed everywhere possible so that you can continue to be a voice for these women, because you are a lifeline for them. We know that you have hundreds, thousands of women clawing to get to you to try to, you know, because they know that you are someone who has given everything and fights her hardest to speak up for them. And they know that, and that's why you are their go-to. So what can you, and being that you're their go-to, I want everyone to remind everyone that Amy spoke at the LA Speakers Corner, and she also had a woman who is going to be identified as Celine. She came on and spoke from prison. She was on the phone. A lot of you were there and witnessed that. And I was really upset to find out when I was messaging with Amy at Chikawa that Celine has actually received a lot of lashback for speaking out. And I want to know, Amy, if you could tell us more about that and her experience and what we might be able to do to support these incarcerated women.
That situation is really intense. That specific prison, it's dilapidated. It should have been closed down years ago. But you know, money laundering is big, and California is so corrupt, and all the departments are it seems like every way I go, there's another level of corruption. There's another link to another state department that's washing this money for this. And I think that's what's really going on in that specific facility. There's actually a recent situation where there was a staff, they called it a honeypot thingy. There was a staff member that was trying to set up another investigative services officer, and he sent him in and had one of the ladies mic'd. There was a mic in the room, and the ladies kept saying the code word. She kept saying, "I'd really like some pizza," and her bunkie at the time couldn't figure out why she kept saying that, and he didn't send in. And nobody did anything until after the assault was finished. And this guy's listening and he's fully aware of what's going on. And I mean, it's in the papers and nobody is talking about this. And that's not an isolated situation. This is just one that another officer happened to be involved in recording. There's, full-on relationships in there. There's pregnancies that get covered up. It's, it's a smaller prison, so it's a little bit less drama from other prisoners, but the level of staff corruption is very disheartening. There's nobody to really go to when you have an issue, because who do you tell? I can only call so many times. At least they answer the phone now, because this time last year, we could be calling all day long and would never get an answer ever. When you've followed the policies and you've advocated for yourself and you follow the rules. Like, I filled out an inmate complaint, I've filed my paperwork, and then you see them you get the paperwork and you turn it in and you see them just throw it away, or you see them pull it up and throw it away in your face. It's very discouraging, because what do you do? What do you do but just hide in your room? But
it's like there's no course of recourse being provided for these women. There's nothing that they can do. But there are some things that they can do, and you're going to talk more about that. And I want to keep you on the line with us. But I see that Gina, it looks like they're getting.
Let's before I do want to put Gina on the phone also, but I want just before she goes, I want people to
Amy's
know.
going to stay with us, right?
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Amy, you're going to stay with us, right? Don't leave. Okay, great. I just want to check in with Gina so that she doesn't wonder if we're ignoring her.
Okay, let's check in. All right. Hey, ladies, are you guys getting ready for the ground?
All right.
Sorry, we're not ready. I'm sorry, so we don't have a tripod, and I'm short, so I'm gonna get like my head, because everybody else is taller than me.
Okay.
We're working it.
All right. Should I give you about 5 more minutes, or what do you think?
It's pretty hard to hear y'all too, obviously. But I've got earbuds, so just give me a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, let's first I wanted to say, Amy, I was so heartened by the woman who spoke, or her story of hearing her childhood abuse, and then hearing a woman say no for the first time.
Yeah.
And
how
really
hit me in the gut too. Super impactful. And then that was my old bunkie. So when I recognized who she was telling the story about, I was like, wow. I felt like it was just she and I talking, because I remember that made so much sense. It made so much sense that this woman was the one who stood out and was able to say no. I mean, that like she's a cop. She was a former LAPD, so she knew how to be assertive, and she came from a position of power. But none of us ever objected. I would be in outdoors, just with a chain link fence, naked, and none of us ever thought to say no. We never considered that an option,
because it's like this ritualized process, and it's almost like I've heard other incarcerated women say it's like a form of hazing, where they get you in there and strip you down and dehumanize you, and that's part of how they condition you to start living in a life where you're completely under control.
Yeah, it's definitely a breakdown.
All right. Sorry, ladies. Gina, are you ready? Oh, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that's not working. The earbuds aren't working for. sound.
Oh no. Okay. Well, your sound is actually pretty
Hear us
good.
at all?
Your sound is. I can actually. Can you hear me when you have your earbuds in? Okay.
I can hear when I have my earbuds in.
Okay, your sound is good without your earbuds. So if you guys are ready to give speeches, we'll start.
Great. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, ladies, I'm gonna make us little, but stick around.
Testing. Okay, can you hear us? Can you still hear us? I think this is all the way.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
Okay, we're gonna start our speeches right now. Hi everybody, we're in Portland, Oregon. We are at Chapman Square across the street. I've gathered here with about half a dozen TERF, gender critical people who are fighting for women and children, whatever label you want to give us. We are here today to talk to the public and stand for women and children. We just got our first honk. Woo! All right, our first speaker today is, are you ready? No, you can come and talk on the microphone. You ready? Our first speaker today is Amelia. She's 8 years old. She's a Portland native. She wanted to be here today. She demanded, and she's our first speaker. Save girls sport. We are here today, standing up for this and put our foot down. You hear me? We hear you. We can do this anymore. We need our votes back. Come closer now. And votes that women do. Please, just go away. Go away. Wait, say it one more time. Go away. Go away. Woo, think of it. You want to sing your song? Okay. Yeah, sing your song for us. Girls go to college to get more knowledge. Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. Mom goes to Mars to get the bigger phone. Dad goes to Spain to get a bigger brain. Thank you. Great job. All right, thank you so much. All right, who's next to speak? Does anybody else want to speak? We have our next speaker. I'll speak, but I want to be after everybody else. Hello. This is my first speaker's corner. I'm so glad to be here. I am from Denver, came all the way here from Portland. I was not going to let this not happen. I'm sorry, I came all the way from Denver to Portland. And I am so excited to be here. Yeah, no, this was a canceled event, but you know, we still showed up and we're still here. And honestly, it's great. It is wonderful. There is plenty of people around, but no opposition. And it's wonderful. But ultimately, we are here today to say stop touching our children. Please stop. These children can't consent. These children can't consent to lifelong mutilation. They can't. And we're doing this in numbers against gay kids and autistic kids. We can't keep doing this. We have to stop. Women are being erased from the public. I went to a restroom yesterday and there was a men's restroom. And then there's another restroom that didn't have a label on it. We are being erased from the public. We will not stand. Statistics are going to be changed now because birth certificates no longer reflect sex. We will not know the numbers of male violence against women. We will not know the number of males in women's prisons. We will not know anything. They want us in the dark. And this has to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. Does anybody else want to speak? You want to speak, Rachel? So we are here in Portland, Oregon. Once again, I came all the way from Denver, Colorado with a friend from Colorado Springs. We have a lot of Portland natives here with us. We came for the Standing for Women event. Unfortunately, it was canceled, but we wanted to come out here today and still give a voice for women and girls and let the men who threatened us know that we will not be terrorized, we will not be intimidated, we are not going anywhere, and we will not lie for you.
Absolutely. Woo! Woo! Yeah. It's done? Yep. All right. Talk into it, okay? Talk into it. Yep.
Really close.
Okay. And you want to be close to me. Hi, everybody. So I am a Portland native. I grew up here. I've lived other places. Right now, my city is being terrorized. No children. You can't bring your children downtown. You can't even go downtown without worry about it. These people need to stop terrorizing their neighbors. And the people of Oregon need to stand up and say enough is enough. This is our city, and we love this city. And we will not put up with any more of being terrorized by angry young men who don't want to hear the word no. Women say no. We are not going to be redefined. We're not going to let men do what they always do. Tell us who we are. Tell what we can talk about. We're just going to stand up for ourselves and for our daughters. That's about it. I didn't really prepare anything. You want to go?
I don't think anybody can hear that. And the way you test that, I'm explaining to you how you tell. Walk over to that corner and
we're here in downtown Portland, Oregon, holding space for the women of Oregon. Many of us find ourselves politically homeless right now. Earlier this year, a ruling came down from the Supreme Court, from a right-wing Supreme Court, taking our right to bodily autonomy to control our pregnancies and what happens in our body. And right on the heels of that, the Biden administration on the left changed the rules around Title IX to recognize gender identity and to erase sex in the Title IX legislation. The left hates women. The right hates women. We are here to organize and hold space for all the politically homeless women in America, in the state of Oregon, and in this city. In this city where women are cowed by the violence of men who think they're being progressive when they're supporting an ideology and the practices around that ideology that are mass marketed, that are co-opted by capital at every step of the way. So, for example, a child claims a trans identity, and the first thing that happens is you can have a gender reveal party with all these great prizes and signs and party favors. Then the child goes on into the pharmaceutical conveyor belt with puberty blockers. Big money, big money. It stunts their growth, their sexual development. For little boys, they'll never have an adult-sized penis, and they will never have sexual pleasure or orgasm. For little girls, again, this pipeline sterilizes our children and makes them pharmaceutical long-time patients for life. That's the conveyor belt. After that, it's surgeries. Then there's marketing to men for size 13 pumps and clothes. There's a whole industries have popped up around the transgender phenomenon, the transgender fad that is happening in America right now. As women, we're here to oppose it because we oppose the harms that are done to our children. We also oppose the risks to safeguarding for children, for our girls, for women, for ourselves. We object to being erased in language and in law. We are not front holes. We are not chest feeders or birthing bodies. We are women. We are not women because we claim some special woman feeling woman identity. We are women because we were born women. We were born female. And that is the basis of our oppression. To erase it, to call it, you know, just feelings and gender identity.
Oh. Just try, everybody. Just give it a shot. We're testing, and it's okay. It's okay. Keep going.
Again, we are here to hold space for the politically homeless Portland women who have been attacked from both the left and the right, erasing us in language, erasing us in law. We're here to hold space and this is a record of our dissent. We do not consent. We are not gender identities. We are women. We are adult human females, and we will not give up our sex-based rights without a fight.
You can hear that way better.
We are adult human females. We want our sex-based rights. We are adult human females. We want our sex-based rights. We are adult human females. We want our sex-based rights. We are adult human females. We want our sex-based rights. Woo! Ollie, come speak. Come speak.
Thank you so much.
Woo!
This is a social contagion.
This is a marketing strategy.
It's a social contagion.
Guys here on the stream, we appreciate y'all being here and supporting us. And we are actually getting quite a bit of support out here. It's quite wonderful. Have plenty of people honking, waving at us. Portland is actually much more than I thought it was going to be. This is fun. This is really wonderful. So wonderful. We're doing good out here. Anyone else want to speak?
Anyone else want to speak yet? Come on, Corbin! Corbin's gonna speak. Go ahead and have a speak with that. I think it's just better. This one you have to really talk, and people don't like to do that.
Right. I don't like to put my mouth through. I know, it's good. Use this one. Oh, can I use the mic?
You can, but you have to talk like into it, okay?
And you can hold it so that you can move around as you like, and the closer you can see you.
So
remember, we're talking.
the women here today are the women who understand why we have women-only spaces. We need women-only spaces. A lot of people still don't understand why we have women-only spaces. Recently, in a rape crisis shelter, just a few days ago, a man raped a woman. No?
You have to put your face like that. Okay.
Right against the mic like that? Okay.
You can come into it. You get a little closer.
Okay. A few days ago, in a rape crisis shelter, a man said he was a woman and was let into the shelter. His first order of business was to rape a woman in the rape crisis shelter who was there because she had just been raped. This is why we have women-only spaces. This is why. There are women in prison who are pregnant by male prisoners who are terrorizing them in their prisons. These women are sleeping in shifts. They are sleeping with one These are rape camps that are being organized by President Biden. We need our women-only spaces. There was supposed to be a rally here today, a large rally, not just a couple of women. There were women from all over the world coming here today. You guess why there is no rally today? Because of credible death threats against the main speaker's life. That is why women are being terrorized for speaking, for asking for a conversation. People are walking by and saying, what? I don't understand. Nobody knows this is going on. This is going on silently behind the scenes. Nobody knows that this is even happening. There are no male rape crisis groups at all in this nation. The last remaining one in North America is in Vancouver. There was a dead rat nailed to the door by trans activists.
They're coming right now. They're coming right now. Sir, come on. We just got attacked. We just got attacked by Antifa.
You guys stay safe.
We just got attacked. We just got attacked. Fucking losers! We're not scared of you. We're not gonna stop fighting. Yes. You are fighting men, and you can't stop women. You can't stop us. You can't. So okay, Carmen wants to sing her song, and I'm going to just give her the floor.
Oh my God.
This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. What's violence? Nothing new to us. We people of the uterus. This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. They'll say that you said do to us. We people of the uterus. And we know there is no other way. There's nothing we can say. Nothing gonna change your mind. And we know when there's no shades of gray, start seeing us as prey. Someone's gotta hold the line. This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. What's violence? Nothing new to us. We people of the uterus. This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. You think that you'll get through to us. We people of the uterus, we're saying no. Males in our intimate space.
No!
For you, there is no place.
No place.
Things won't just turn out fine. We're saying no. Please stay away. It's dangerous to play. Go do your thing away from mine. This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. What's violence? Nothing new to us. We people of the uterus. This is what you do to us. Your violence so gratuitous. Will be done when you are through with us. We people of the uterus.
There's my song.
We're with you.
I'm gonna have to dry clean his coat now.
We knew that they were going to come out, maybe come out, and we were not going to be scared away. This is what we have to be scared of, pies and violence as women, because we tell men no. And by the way, you know, we need to clean up because there might be cayenne in there. So take this water, clean up, please. Okay, it's just whipped cream. Big whoop. Fuck you guys. We're not going to stop. So here we go.
citizens. You okay, I'll buy another one. Sorry, I'll buy another one. Fuck it, I'll buy another one today. Hey, y'all have to crowdfund to buy it. We have crowdfunding too, but I also have a bank account. You fucking assholes. They broke our Amazon. It's not working no more.
Hello.
This is a Portland native right here. This is my home. They are standing up for trans and gay children and medicalizing them for life. These are children. They own our city and we do nothing. We just sit here and let them terrorize us. When are we going to say enough is enough? We love Portland. This is my home. We would not be silenced. I'm crying right now. Okay. I'm so angry. Do we maybe want to go to the next location? Oh, I was freaking confused. Yeah, I think so. It's probably smart. All right, so we're gonna go to location 2. We're not gonna just stay here, okay? You guys.
We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
You guys are fucking amazing. You're killing it. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Yeah.
You're so good. You're
So
good.
if you are just tuning in, that is Gina Hoach. She's on the ground in Portland, where women decided to hold a free speech event, even though the larger event had been canceled. A group of women came out with their signs and a PA and their messages to speak to the public. And we just witnessed members of people claiming to be Portland Antifa run by the event and physically assault one of our speakers. A wonderful, powerful speaker. A woman was speaking. We don't know her name, I don't think, but she was physically assaulted and had a pie thrown in her face. And it looks like they stole some of the equipment as well. Now, there had been threats on the speakers on Kelly J's Speaker Corner tour, which is why they had canceled. Some of the threats made were saying that they were going to put cayenne into whipped cream pies. And why they would do that, obviously, because if you put that in somebody's eyes and mouth and nose, it will make all of them burn. It's sort of like spraying mace at someone. So it's, and mace is a less lethal weapon. So they're trying to use these types of weapons against women, homemade weapons out of a pie. It looks like the pie that they threw at this woman did not have cayenne in it, but nonetheless, this is still a physical assault. She was hit directly in her face as she was speaking about women's sex-based rights, as she was naming the horrific abuse faced by women in rape crisis shelters and in prisons. As she was speaking about this abuse, she was greeted with a physical act of male violence right in front of our faces in broad daylight for all of us to see. This is who we are dealing with. This is what women are up against. This is why it's so important that we continue to create space to tell this story over and over again, that women are being silenced and we won't allow it. Amy, did you want to comment on what we just witnessed?
I mean, these women are so brave to stand up, and I want to underscore what Rachel was saying. You know, she was talking about Portland being her home, but we come from a lineage of mother to daughter to mother to daughter to mother to daughter, every one of us who is a woman. And this is our home. This planet is our home. This is our birthright. Everywhere that we put our frigging feet on this planet, we are in our home, our mother's home. And we have every right to speak here. We have every right to be here. It is incredibly frustrating and galling and angering. And my tears are from frustration and anger. I'm so fucking angry.
Mhm.
And my tears are also in pride for my sisters who are standing up and speaking out. I am so proud of them.
Yeah, the women in the chat are also saying that they witnessed that multiple women were hit, which I'm sure is the case. Everything happened fast. I had like 4 windows open, but we are hoping as soon as we get back in touch with Gina, they're going to give us an update on what happened. And I've got my messages open with some of the women on the ground waiting to see if they're going to get a chance to send us a text update. It looks like I'm just going to show Gina because I'm not sure what's going on there. And I want to make sure if anything happens that everyone is here to witness it. And we're here to document this on this live stream. We will be downloading and saving all of these live streams as a record of our dissent. I recommend that all of you that are capable of downloading these live streams go ahead and do that as well. And in the event that any of these live streams are taken down, I will be posting all of them on both the deprogrammer.com and stopfemaleerasure.com. We will make sure that those videos we're able to access them so that everyone can see and bear witness to these acts of violence that are happening against women who are coming out in public to stand up for themselves and for all of us and for the sex-based rights of women and girls around the world. Amy Ichikawa, you're here with us in the studio. I want to hear if you have any reaction from what we just witnessed and your thoughts about this. You're on mute, so you'll have to unmute yourself. There we go. Amy Ichikawa, are you there?
She's still
Amy, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think Amy can hear me.
I don't think so either.
That's okay. We'll leave her on here and she'll comment when she does come back to us.
I just saw in the private chat she's on another call. Can you see the private chat, Yang? There's over on the right-hand side, you can see the private chat.
Mm-hmm.
Very
okay,
right. So she just said in the private chat. Sorry, I can't see hardly these comments because my eyes are filled with tears. Ladies, thank you for being here in this chat, because the thing is that the thing that is so important, and I'm going to try to speak through it and I'm going to try not to cry, but the thing that is so important is that these women who are brave enough to stand up in public, they need us as well. They need witnesses. So we are, all of us here in this live stream today, we are the witnesses. We are witnessing their bravery. We are reflecting their bravery back to them. And we are recording it. This is the record, as we say, this is the record of our dissent. So it is recorded here today that these women stood up and they spoke truth and they were met with violence. And we have recorded it. And we are witnessing, we are here to witness their bravery. And I also want to point out that these men continue to tell on themselves. They are telling on themselves. We don't hardly have to say one bad thing about them. We don't have to say anything bad about them because they tell on themselves with their own behavior. So they have told on themselves today. They have told a story about themselves, that they are people who do violence against women, that they are people who are anti-free speech.
Just for the record, there are police here. Here's a police officer right here. There are police over there. So I know Standing for Women did not show up today because of threats and because Portland police said they weren't going to come, but they did show up. There are police around. Unfortunately, they were not able to stop the attack by Antifa. Antifa attacks women in Portland now. Antifa attacks women. Hey, men, when are you going to stand up for women? When are you going to stand up for women in your city? We're angry. let's go.
So I went right back to the live because we got a little bit of pushback. Somebody with green hair flipped us the bird after we just got attacked by Pi. I don't know why they always have green hair and beards. And she went to the cops, actually, to complain about us and our free speech.
I got too much mousse in my hair.
What was that? I'm sorry.
It wasn't a cop.
TSA.
No, it was Clean and Safe. This is somebody who goes around supposedly making sure we're all safe.
Oh, thank you. Not doing the best job. What was that?
Oh, I was just thinking. Pronouns are rohypnol because they try to dull your senses. If you can't tell it's a dude in a dress, you must need contact lenses. Ow!
They can't shut us up. No amount of pie. No amount of middle fingers. We're not going anywhere. Trans women are violent men who attack women and children. All right, so we're gonna walk around a little bit instead of just staying on the corner.
Okay, we're losing them. We're losing them a little bit. We're gonna see as soon as they come back. We'll go back on the song with them. I mean, look at the song. My train of thought. As soon as they come back, we'll put them back on the screen. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Yeah, we're really proud of all the women that showed up in Portland today to raise their voices for women's free speech, to claim space, to show that women will not back down. We will not submit. We will not be subdued. We will not be stopped. For those just tuning in, what we just witnessed, there were about, I saw at least 10 women on camera in Portland who showed up to do a free speech event. They were met with physical violence and assault from people claiming to be members of Portland Antifa. They came by and threw pies into the faces of our women. They physically were put hands on women, and they took posters, and it looks like they tried to rip equipment out of these women's hands. And it was an assault in broad daylight. And what we are doing is here to keep a record of this dissent, to show what is happening, to put eyes on this situation. If the mainstream media doesn't listen, if even alternative media doesn't want to show these events, we have to be our own media. That is why we are here putting this live stream together. Because no one is going to tell our stories, so we have to tell our stories. And if we didn't connect with Gina and Rachel beforehand about this and link up with them, there wouldn't have been anybody to witness this live stream. So it's really important that we all be working together and have communication and be using every outlet that we have and every platform we have to showcase these live events, because we are witnessing violence against women in real time, and we need to continue to document this so that we can get the broader public to start listening to what's going on. Amy Ichikawa is here with us in the studio. She is the founder of Woman to Woman. She is a formerly incarcerated woman. She was incarcerated for 5 years at Chowchilla Prison. She is a phenomenal, incredible advocate and activist for incarcerated women. And Amy, I want to get your reaction to what you just witnessed, this assault on our sisters in Portland.
I was actually on the phone with one of the ladies in CCWF when that happened. And I did 5 years in a maximum security state prison, and there's nothing, you can't really compare. You're in the free world and you're using your free speech and you're you know, practicing your rights as a human being, and you're attacked for that. And you know, you don't see any people running to the rescue, and this isn't like gonna be mainstreamed because we're women.
Right.
But
The
I just told,
revolution will not be televised.
yeah, and I really, and I just told my friend on the phone who's been incredibly silenced as well, and I'm trying to encourage her and the rest of the population who are going to. They're having a town hall meeting tomorrow, and I told her that there's women in Portland on the street who just got attacked, and just know you're not alone. This is all of us, and the things they do inside. I have to tell them, this
women
is
in the stream were calling out incarcerated women. The women in the stream were calling out the women who are our sisters in prisons, and they're speaking up where we're trying to speak up.
And you know, like this is war. Like, people don't understand that we're really in the middle of a war, like for just our existence. So
that's right.
I think it's so important to continue to bolster each other up and support each other, because if we don't, we're not gonna even make it through the current battle we're in. And this is just a hill. This isn't even like this hard part yet. We're just starting, and it's gonna get that. Those kind of things are gonna happen, and we just have to be ready and know that it's to support the ones who are on the front lines, and keep each other encouraged and lifted up, because that's like traumatic for a woman who hasn't, you know, had her brains bashed in or been in like a lot of traumatizing situations. That is really like PTSD inducing trauma that they just experienced. This is like a big assault. This is an attack. And it's important for people to know you're going to have bad feelings. You're going to not feel good for the next couple of days. This is a serious trauma.
That's right.
That just happened.
Yes, this is a war on women. This is a war on girls. I want to point out that the first speaker in Portland was an 8-year-old girl. So there was a child speaking out, and she was there present when this assault occurred. She could have been harmed. She, at the very least, witnessed male violence against women for speaking up for their rights. Amy Ichikawa has been talking about how these incarcerated women who are locked into these cells with male rapists and murderers are being retaliated against every time they speak out. We discussed how these women are literally being left with no recourse. And then when those of us who are supposed to be free women out in the world, in a country that's supposed to have free speech and a free country for women to come out and try to exercise our rights and name what's happening to the incarcerated women. And then as that happens, for an act of assault, of physical violence to occur, really illustrates that this is absolutely a war on women. This is terrorism. This is physical terrorism. This is actually, this can be named as genocide. If you go through the 10 stages of genocide, we have checked off almost every box. So if you are thinking about speaking up, now is the time to do it. Speak up, gather in your communities. Even if it's just start with your family, start with someone who will listen. Now is the time to speak up. We cannot wait any longer.
And I want to say, anyone, any woman out there, I've worked with Alex of Pinwheel Art. I've worked with Kelly Kay. Any woman, it doesn't matter how big your platform is. If you want to gather with 5 women or 3 women in the street, if you want to put up one of these events, I will platform it. I will put it on my platforms. So you do not have to wait. You can do it right now. Talk to me, reach out. We will help you make one of these happen. If you want it to happen, you can make it happen. You don't have to wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder and reach down. We will help you make this happen.
Absolutely. 100%. Gina, what's going on the ground? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a little update. We just moved a little bit, and we've got everyone kind of cleaning up, changing clothes. It's cold here, so to be covered in whipped cream or whatever is not fun.
No.
And you know, just taking some space to, I guess, reorganize. we knew it could happen. This is exactly what they threatened on Twitter. So they came through, and I hope they enjoyed themselves, because they're the violent men. They're only proving what we're saying. This is a men's rights movement. They are harming women and children. They don't want us to speak. They don't want us to speak out. And know they're mutilating kids. They know they're on the wrong side of history. I don't really like to use that phrase, but I don't know how they could think that attacking women and a child who is standing on the street corner simply speaking, I believe it's factual, right? We all know that these are facts, but it's still just people's opinions, and that freedom of speech just isn't allowed here in the city. They don't want women talking about the issue at hand.
And you yourself and all of the women there are just so brave and bold, and I commend all of you. Yolanda, hi, sister. And while everyone is here, while you're taking a break, Gina, I want to let everyone know who you are. Gina Hote, she's an incredible women's rights activist. She's a friend of mine. I respect her as a friend and as a leader in this movement. I have worked with her several times. She is a mother. She's a wife. She's a creator. She's an activist, a small business owner. And she has been all over the country speaking out on this issue, raising her voice in all kinds of ways, not just out on the street protesting, but she's been going to the seats of power, talking to political leaders. She's been getting active in her community. She's been mobilizing people online, because she is a big influencer as the Canna Mama online and social media spaces, and she utilized all of the platforms that she had to get the word out about this issue. She fought the Denver city school system, where her children were being faced with gender identity ideology in the schools. We are just so grateful to have her here, to have her take up leadership to make sure that today's action still happened. And thank you, Gina. You're incredible. And if you
we were all three together in Washington, D.C. to picket the EO. We were together in New York. All three of us were together protesting the UN, and all three of us were together in Austin trying to save women's sports against Leah Thomas. So it's so great it's really special to be here with you while you are live in Portland.
I really appreciate that y'all were live streaming when it happened too. What just happened. Thank y'all. Thank you for offering to still live stream us. I know a lot of people had opinions about us still coming out here, even though it was canceled, and that we are facing violence. And I appreciate very much that Kelly J. Keene came over here and inspired so many people to get off their butts and move, and that's great. I couldn't just walk away, though. I came too far, and I'm not going to let men and people do this to us. I just couldn't do it, and I'm so glad that I still had Rachel and Yolanda and Amy and Carmen and Holly Hart, and everybody still showed up today. So thank you so much to all the brave women that stood up for women and children. We've got to stop, and the LGBT community. We have to stop this. There's so many people that are being damaged by the trans ideology.
Absolutely. And Gina, for the people who just tuned in and didn't witness the act of violence that we all saw, can you describe from your perspective on the ground there what happened?
Sure. I actually was a few feet back. I believe Yolanda saw them coming around the corner first.
I saw them first coming, and I was like, "Yo, they're coming!" And I don't think anyone heard me. I probably should have used my megaphone to do that, but I saw them coming, and I was like, "Yo, we need to go!" And I was trying to tell everyone. I slipped my mind. It was the moment, and I wish I had used my megaphone to let everyone know that Antifa was coming. But it is what it is. Honestly, I'm still glad that we got all of that captured. That's what we need.
Yeah, so they came around the corner wearing, hoods and their faces covered, and they had grocery bags full of pies, basically, tin cans with whipped cream. In the past, they have pied other people, and of course, PIE stands for something, by the way.
Pedophile Information Exchange. Look it up if you don't know.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they chose to choose this. Yeah, and so they've done it to other feminists before and put cayenne pepper, and we were worried there might be glass particles and stuff in the pie. It was a little bit unfortunate that we didn't get, I don't know. It just, I didn't think that, I don't know what to say. I'm still a little shocked, really, that they've seemed young, right? So that young people have that much disrespect for women and children who are speaking peacefully and holding a peaceful demonstration. It's not like we're violent but they call us genocidal online. And so when they were planning this action, they actually believe that we are adjacent to Nazis and to any kind of bigot, anyone they hate, right? So, right. So I don't know.
Yeah, none of us are any strangers to being called Nazis, bigots, white supremacists, racists. We're not strangers to any of that. We're not scared of being called any of those names because we know it's not true, and we know that we are standing for all women and girls all around the world, of all races, all backgrounds and cultures. This affects all of us. So we don't care about those types of accusations. We are going to showing up and showing out and proving them wrong. And I think that's what having women like you, Gina, having Rachel, Holly Hart, Yolanda, some of the other women that I don't know, but having you women going out there and challenging the dominant narrative about who we are, about who the resistance to this is. Because we are everyday women from all walks of life. We don't agree about everything, and we don't need to. We agree that women and girls need to be safeguarded and protected on the basis of our sex. We believe in protecting children from an ideology that seeks to divide their mind from their body and prime them to become victims of the medical industrial complex for the rest of their lives, to turn children against their parents. Gina mentioned that it was the people who attacked them were wearing all black, had their faces covered, and appeared very young. This speaks to the fact that the youth in this country are being radicalized towards violence. I know that this is true because, as a lot of you know, I was a trans rights activist myself. I was involved in a lot of activist spaces where I myself was very radicalized, had these ideas that violence should be used against people we don't agree with. These ideas, they're not just happening online, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. These are ideas that people in the real world believe and are planning actions of violence against women like what we saw today. So, Amy Ichikawa, did you have anything that you wanted to add about what you saw, or if you want to talk to Gina or the women on the ground and share any of your message?
Gina, I was on the phone with the prison. I was on the phone with one of the women who's being really, really silenced in Central California Women's Facility when it happened. So, like, I got really quiet, and I didn't even know how to tell her, like, this is how bad it is there. So just know that being brave and standing up and continuing to fight the silence inside there's people in solidarity with you, and women are fighting this across the board. So, you're not alone in this at all. I was like trying not to wig out on her, but it was just not simple, but it was important that we were all together when this happened, so that they can know firsthand that you're on the front lines, and they're definitely not alone.
No. We're not forgetting them. I've got it probably got ripped off, but I had my Keep Women Single set button right here in front. So we definitely are not forgetting the women who are incarcerated. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
the American Women's Movement. This is what it looks like. You are witnessing right now just a sampling of some of the amazing women that we have that organize around this issue of women's sex-based rights. You are tuned into the Known Heretic YouTube channel right now, hosted by Amy Sousa. She herself recently led the Let Julie Swim protests in Port Townsend, Washington, where she lives, where a grandmother was told that she could no longer access the YMCA because she spoke out about a male being in the women's locker room, exposing his male body to women and girls in a space that is supposed to be for women and girls only. So Amy Sousa, she's an incredible leader in this fight. We have Amy Ichikawa with us. We have a lot of Amy's. We've got Amy Ichikawa. She is just out there on the forefront of advocating for our incarcerated women. You heard from Amy Aplom, another amazing Amy in this movement. She was on the ground. I had the opportunity to meet her in Seattle at the Sovereign Women Speak event hosted by April Morrow. I also saw Amy in Madison, Wisconsin at the WLRN and Sisters for Sisters event, Courage Calls to Courage. And it was fantastic to see her speak. There she is now. Hi, Amy. Can you hear me?
Oh, your phone is on mute. Your phone is on mute.
Hi.
Hi, Amy. You're with the other two Amy's and me.
Yep. I took one for the team. Yay. like my whipped cream hairdo.
Yeah. Yes. I like what you've done with it.
Very revolutionary.
Thank you.
You've turned pie into a new do. Amy, Amy, do you want to introduce yourself to the women that are watching now and in the future?
Sure. My name is Amy Aplom. I'm from Portland. Well, I'm currently living in the burbs, but this is my city. I've done a lot of activism in the city. Even Chapman Square, where we were proposed to have today's rally, was the place where Occupy happened. Occupy Wall Street in Portland happened, and I was in those camps for 5 weeks. Yeah, I've caucused with different labor groups down in this town. I've done May Days for years and years, organizing with WOBs and with our local labor unions. I don't know if you can hear me with the background noise.
Oh, I'm speaking over her now.
Yeah, so I'm not quiet anymore about this. I talk to everybody. People come up to me all the time in my union and, shake my hand and say, I'm too afraid, but thank you. And, there's actually lots of support there's actually a lot of people who are opposed all levels of this gender bullshit. A lot of fathers and mothers. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me with the background noise, but
we can hear you. And we thank you for all the work that you've been doing, organizing locally and working with women around the country on this issue. We thank you for the work that you have been doing.
Thank you all.
And Amy, if you could describe to us what happened and how you were assaulted in broad daylight along with other women.
Honestly, I was holding my sign standing next to another woman on the corner while a speaker was speaking. I didn't even see them coming. So it was only about 4 or 5. I don't even know I don't think they're Antifa. I think they're college kids, honestly. There was one woman and 3 or 4 men. And yeah, they stole our signs. They tried to take my sign after hitting me with the pie, but you know, I just kind of faced that woman down and she ran away. So, like I said, I didn't really see it coming and didn't hear any warnings beforehand. So,
and what would you say? What do you have to say, Amy, to people that would do violence against women for speaking about women's rights? What would your message be to them if you could?
Well, honestly, my message, I'm going to be in Tacoma tomorrow, and if there is any sort of counter protest of these so-called, you know, uber left, Antifa, or anybody, you know, who considers themselves the uber progressive left, I would ask them to examine, like, who is behind all of this, because you know, the big corporations, the Nikes, the Intels here in Oregon, they all support this. All the doctor lobbying groups, that, you know, the big medical associations, they're all behind this. This is not some marginalized, poor group of people, you know. This is really a right-wing movement, a right-wing corporate movement, in my opinion. And as somebody who's fought on the left for working class people, the idea, and I mean, okay, let me back up. The idea that this is progressive somehow, and that this kind of toxic compassion is about supporting, you know, poor marginalized people. This is a big corporate marketing ploy. When you have a trans influencer like Dylan Mulvaney sitting with our president, doubling down on, we've got to medicalize the kids, you know, what can you guarantee President Biden that will trans these kids? And him saying, yes, it's a moral issue. Yeah, this is not a marginal. These people are the power centers. And I'm not saying it's the trans people, the people who've fallen victims to this marketing campaign and to the social contagion, the children, of course, you know, they're teaching this in schools. They're prepping kids to tear themselves up, to have, you know, to ruminate about their identities and then get on, you know, the corporate wagon, you know, to fulfill their identities. Yeah, this is a total corporate fascist takeover. So that's what I would say to, like, the Antifa people and the people in Portland, is that you need to really reflect on this.
Yeah, they're a little confused about who's doing what to who. And yeah, thank you for naming all of that, Amy. And that's something that's so powerful about our movement of women, is that we always bring it back to the roots of the problem of what's going on. Amy Aplom, I want you to stay, either you to stay with us or at least keep the live stream going, but I'm going to mute you for a minute because there's a lot of feedback, and we need to switch over to Amy Ichikawa, who has to leave us soon. So we're going to come back with you in just a minute. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Okay, we're going to leave them in the background, and we want to keep the scene going just in case anything else happens. You are back in the studio with the 3 Amy's. We have Amy Aplom, who's down there on the ground in Portland. We have Amy Ichikawa, who is joining us from California, and she is the founder of Women to Women. And of course, your host, Amy Sousa, known Heretic, and myself, Kay Yang. Amy Ichikawa is so busy. Like, I can't tell you how busy this woman is. Like, I've seen the amount of letters that she gets in the mail. I honestly don't know how she fields all of it. Look, she'll show you a big stack. So we thank her so much for being with us today. We know she's so busy, and I want to pass it over to her to give us any other last message or anything she wants to share about what happened with Celine or anything like that. Take it away, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say how it was really important for me to be able to share that with you today, because I'm going to be able to pass that on to the ladies inside as just some encouragement and some solidarity, and to remind them that they're not forgotten. And just because they're like in a really dark place, darker than usual, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we're out here doing our thing too. People that will never meet them are advocating for them. And in Hollywood, when I got a chance to speak and patch a friend of mine in, who's currently incarcerated in CIW, she shared her story. And I've known her for a long time. I've known her for many years. We fought our cases together, and she walked away with a life sentence, and I walked away with 5 years. And she's somebody that I have stayed linked up with. And she's undergone, she's been targeted by the staff, by correctional officers. There's a lot of rampant misconduct down at that prison, and there's nobody to turn to. Then I think one of the most important things that we can arm the sisters with inside is education, self-care techniques. My partner, Liz, actually just made a whole series of postcards with grounding techniques and just alternatives to our normal responses. Just self-affirming postcards. That's the fastest way that we can get messages in there. That's something tangible that you can put in your locker, that you can take with you to work, that you can just have and help you just come back to reality when everything seems so totally unbearable. So that's it. Any books, if anybody has any suggestions of literature that we should be sending in there. Everybody is a sponge ready to learn. I've sent some Dworkin in there, and some of Abigail Schreier's books. I think I sent a couple copies of Kara's book in there. We just need to arm people through education, and we need stamps too. Amy's helping with stamps, but we have some freedom campaigns that other people are really trying to just make not as successful as they could be, because since we don't have funding, they think that that's going to be a problem. But I've reassured the women inside that it's not going to be a problem, because we'll take care of ourselves. So we're not asking for much. We just need postcard stamps. They have gone up to 40 cents, but we need about 1,500. So if we could get that done, I mean, that's going to be a win.
And let's talk about that, Amy. As you mentioned, you are working on a complete shoestring budget. You don't have the backing of all kinds of huge NGOs or corporations. You guys are extremely grassroots. You and the women that work with you are very grassroots, doing everything just with the resources that you have available to you and at your own hands. And you're on a shoestring budget, and we are asking women, please, if you can, donate to Women to Women. Go on their website, womentowomen.org. Women to Women, and it's women, it's actually II, like the Roman numerals. So women.org, and go to donate now. And you can go directly to how you can support and donate to the cause. They need money for things like basic things like stamps, just to be able to keep in contact with one another, so that these women have a lifeline, because Amy is literally their lifeline. Like, I've seen the messages that they sent to her, and Amy Ichikawa is so important to this movement. I cannot stress it enough. There's nothing more important than the women who have been the most directly impacted by these violent systems, by incarceration. There's nothing more important than them being at the middle, at the center of the fight for the rights for incarcerated women. It's so important to have someone like Amy, who was incarcerated herself, who is a woman of color, to come out here to be able to speak on these issues, to speak and be centered and platformed. And please do what you can to donate to Women. If you can't donate, you can share their information everywhere. Share their story about what's happening. Go on Redux and share the articles that are coming out. And anything you can do to spread the word about what's happening. And Amy, can you tell us what else we can do? If women, for example, if they don't have any money, they can't donate, but they want to help, what's the best thing for them to do?
Just call me.
No, you have too many calls to field already.
I mean, well, you know what? We're gonna go Christmas caroling in December. If you know, we're working on hustling up some gas money for people. If the sisters up north in the Central Valley in the Chowchilla area want to come out, that's actually a picture of us Christmas caroling last year. We're trying to get a big enough crowd this year to where we can be heard. If there's any congregations or sound systems that we could borrow from anyone, we would love to borrow that kind of stuff. That's going to be in December 10th. And then I believe December 17th, we're going to be down in CIW in Chino. So, you know, we're covering a lot of terrain. If anybody wants to come out for those, we'll be publishing information as it becomes available and we get the final, you know, thumbs up from the institutions. We want to make sure we're conducting ourselves with respect as far as that can. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Donation?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. That's wonderful. Oh, thank you. Thank you to whoever just donated.
Thank you very much. I have, like, you know, my two team members that have, you know, passed up opportunities to have paying positions because this is where their passion is. So it's really like I'm very responsible for making sure they're okay. So just know that every single penny that comes to us is reinvested completely into the movement. Like,
yes,
nobody's driving Mercedes Benzes or even paying their bills on time right now. So we're just we know it's going to happen though. We know it's going to happen, and it's going to gain traction, and people are going to start to see that we're just trying to change the narrative here and make sure that we can be a part of the movement as well, because
absolutely
we got to do it together.
And you already are changing the narrative, because it's because of you that I am as informed as I am on this issue. It's because of you that so many of the women watching know intimate details about what's going on. If we didn't have you, we wouldn't know what's going on to these women, what's happening to them. So thank you to everyone who is donating. Keep donating to Amy and Women to Women. Thank you, Andrea. I saw you made a donation. And Amy, we definitely are going to have you back on one of these live streams. You are welcome anytime. Thank you so much. And we know you have to get going, and we don't want to keep you.
All right. Thank you. Everybody be careful. That was a really amazing moment. I will talk to you both soon.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Bye.
I actually.
Oh,
bye really quick. We're gonna all leave. We're leaving the park now, and thank you again for live streaming it.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you so much, Gina.
are you ending for the afternoon?
Yeah, I think we're done for the afternoon. Nobody else wants to speak, and you know, we're all a little cold and hungry, and that's about it. There's not really anything else left for us to do here in Portland. We came, we got pied.
Gina, before you guys leave, if it's possible, all the women who want to be on camera, can everybody get together so we can see everyone together?
I think Holly left. We have a few people who left, but this is everybody who showed up today. Can everybody, if you don't want to see it on camera? We did it.
They can't keep keep us down. A lot of us are still going on to the next cities too. So
all right,
here we are.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, bye. Can't wait.
Thank you so much. You did
Bye.
great.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Thank you all for being on this epic live stream with us today. This is an historic event. We are capturing history as it goes down. All of the women who speak publicly will be remembered in the history books for speaking up against this movement. It takes women to be speakers. It takes other women to be witnesses. All of us here today have witnessed the power of women when they stand up. I think we are all very inspired by that. We have also been inspired by the courage of Amy Ichikawa and the work that she does for our most vulnerable women. I am still really incredibly moved by the fact that women were speaking about incarcerated women while they were getting pied. But I think, you know, we are the women who have to stand up and speak for our most undervalued and dehumanized women. You know, this is happening to all women, and some women are on the front lines, and those women who are in prisons are on the front lines as much or even more than those of us who are doing boots on the ground activism. So it really is important to amplify this work. And if you all could do that, if nothing else, I want to say thank you so profusely to women who have donated today, because that enables us to continue to do the work that we do. And I also want to say thank you all of those who have listened and participated, because the fact of your participation amplifies our ability to tell this story. When you share this on your social media, it amplifies our ability to tell this story. When you like, when you subscribe, all of these things help spread the message and spread the awareness of what we're doing, because the reason that we're doing this is to tell a story. We are trying to tell our side of the story. We are trying to create a record of our descent. We are trying to tell people that women do not consent to this. And what we witnessed today is exactly the problem. Male violence is exactly the problem. Men thinking they can tell women what to do and decide where and when we are allowed to speak or participate in public life. No, we say no to that. No, you do not get to tell us where we can stand, what we can say, what we can do. No.
That's right. Yes, we are holding the line for humanity. The women that showed up today, they did so despite knowing that they could meet violence, despite knowing that there would be people who would call them names, who would shout them down, who would do everything in their power to silence them. And they still showed up because they know that nothing is more important than defending the sex-based rights of women and girls, safeguarding women and girls, incarcerated women, houseless women, all women, us, you, me, everyone in the chat, all women and girls everywhere. That's what this is about. And we know that we are facing extreme oppression in society. We have been divided into an us and them. We are the ones who are being vilified in the mainstream media. Even alternative media vilifies our voices. They are seen as too radical. Speaking about women's sex-based rights is not platformed in the way that the voices of other people who speak about issues having to do with trans are platformed. We have just a very small portion. We just have it's very difficult for us to pierce through the programming and the propaganda and the money that the mainstream uses to push forth transgender ideology. And that's why it's so important for us to go out in person, in the streets, confront people in public, because online it's easy to dismiss us. They can block us, they can unfollow us. God knows all of us have been banned. I don't know how many times. I wake up every morning, Instagram's telling me, we're going to remove your account. Hate speech, hate speech, hate speech. So we know that the walls are closing in. They are trying to remove all avenues for us to voice our dissent. And that's why we're doing something like this. We are going, trying to get women all across the country, not just here in the US, but our sisters in Canada and Mexico and Central America, South America, in Asia and South Asia, across Europe, across Africa, across the Middle East. We need women's voices to be heard, and we will continue to platform the women who are speaking on behalf of the most vulnerable women, like Amy Ichikawa, who is speaking on behalf of incarcerated women who have no voice. And I don't know if you heard, but the woman that Amy platformed at the LA Speakers Corner, she had a woman call in who was incarcerated. She spoke and told her story. That woman,
her speech is, you can just watch her speech alone. It's on my YouTube. So I actually put her speech alone. You can watch just that speech. It's on my YouTube. Go on.
And that woman herself, we found out from Amy today, she actually used to be a police officer. So she went from being a police officer to now being a woman who has absolutely no recourse.
She was inspired by the woman who was the police officer.
Oh,
so
thank you.
She had never heard a woman say no. And the other incarcerated woman in her story, she heard that woman say no to a strip search. And that woman was a police officer. The woman who said no was a police officer. And she was inspired by that story. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify.
No, that's really important. That's a very important clarification. But the point still stands that any woman, any one of us at any time could become that incarcerated woman. Any of us could become that woman who is forced in a cell with a male rapist. So, we're speaking up for them. We're asking you to get the word out about what's happening to these women in prison, because they are finding at every turn when they speak up, they are facing lashback from the COs. They're facing lashback from male staff, from police. They are facing lashback in every way possible, to the point where women are scared to talk because that could end up, they could be incarcerated for even longer. Women are getting sent to solitary confinement for speaking out about this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, ladies. Kay Yang, thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Ladies, we are going to have another live stream tomorrow from Tacoma. I'm going to go live at 11:30, but the event starts at 12 o'clock in Tacoma at Tolson Plaza in Tacoma. If you are around, that is where we will be. I will be doing the live stream from there. Kay Yang, unfortunately, will not be joining us tomorrow. She's not able. So it's going to be kind of an interesting one, because I will be trying to moderate it and I will be boots on the ground. I actually may reach out to Ella Androphobia if you're around. If you DM me, I kind of want someone in the studio to help mod this, because I want women to be able to share and participate and have their voices. That's really important to me about these live streams, is to create and facilitate a situation of participation, because we are all participants in this. So I really, I want to do that. So we'll figure that out by tomorrow, but we're going to let you all go for today. We've been here over 2.5 hours. So thank you for bearing with, thank you for being with us. And I will absolutely, I will see you tomorrow in Tacoma. We will see you there. All right. Thanks. Bye.